Operation Payback. Operation Payback was the very first operation in CSGO, released on April 23, 2013. It cost just $5.99 and ran for about 100 days. Unlike the later operations we know today, Payback wasn't about skins or missions. Instead, it was designed as a community support project. Players who bought the pass gained access to 7 community-made maps, including Seaside, Downtown, and Museum. The unique part of Payback was where the money went. Instead of Valve keeping the revenue, the earnings were shared with the community map creators. This was the first time in CSGO history that players could directly support map makers while also enjoying their work. For many creators, this was proof that their maps had real value and could reach a global audience. As for rewards, buyers received the Operation Payback coin. This coin could be upgraded from bronze to silver and then to gold just by playing matches on the Operation maps. But Payback had no special cases, no weapon skins, and no new collections. It was purely a map operation. Looking back, Operation Payback laid the foundation for everything that would come later. The idea of timed content, exclusive drops, and progression all started here. It was a simple beginning, but it showed Valve that players were willing to pay for extra content, and it opened the door to much bigger operations that followed. Operation Bravo. Operation Bravo launched on September 19, 2013, and it was a big step up from Payback. Like the first operation, it cost $5.99, but this time it ran for over 4 months, making it one of the longest early operations. Players gained access to 8 community-made maps, with the most famous being Cache, which would later become one of the core competitive maps in CSGO's history. Bravo also introduced something that would change CSGO forever, the first true operation case. The Operation Bravo case quickly became legendary, containing some of the most iconic skins in the game. Among them were the AK-47 Fire Serpent, M4A4 Asimo, and P2000 Ocean Foam. These skins are still among the most valuable and recognizable in CSGO. Because the case was only available during the operation, its limited supply made it one of the rarest and most expensive cases on the market even years later. Like Payback, players received an Operation Bravo coin, which could be upgraded by playing on Bravo maps and winning competitive matches. But the real draw this time was the skins. For the first time, CSGO had a system that combined community maps with exclusive cosmetic rewards, and players loved it. Operation Bravo proved that operations weren't just short-term events, they could shape the game's economy and long-term content. It marked the moment where CSGO's skin market truly began to explode. Operation Phoenix. Operation Phoenix was released on February 20, 2014 and ran until June 4. Unlike the previous 2 operations, the Phoenix Pass was much cheaper, costing only $2.99. This lower price meant far more players joined in, making it one of the most widely played operations at the time. Phoenix brought back 8 community maps, including Cache, Motel, and Downtown, but its real impact came from the Operation Phoenix case. This case included some of CSGO's most popular skins, such as the AWP Asimov, AK-47 Redline, and USPS Guardian. Because the case was widely available, it became one of the most opened and common cases in the game. That's why Phoenix skins are much more affordable compared to the rare Bravo collection, even though they're still fan favorites. At first, the Phoenix case was exclusive to pass holders, but in June 2014, Valve changed the system and made it available to all players. This dramatically increased the case's supply, ensuring it would never be as rare or as expensive as Bravo's. Like before, players received an Operation Phoenix coin, upgradable by playing on operation maps and winning matches. But Phoenix's main legacy was accessibility. It showed Valve that making operations cheap and cases widely available could massively grow player participation. It wasn't about rarity this time, it was about scale. Operation Breakout. Operation Breakout launched on July 1, 2014 and lasted until October 2. The pass cost $5.99, and this operation became a turning point for CSGO because it introduced the first ever mission system. Players no longer just played maps for coins, they now had specific tasks to complete, like getting kills with certain weapons or winning rounds in certain modes. Missions were released on a schedule, and players could only do a limited number at a time, which kept people coming back every week. Another major feature was the Operation Journal, which tracked the player's stats and progress throughout the operation. This gave players a more personal way to measure their achievements and see how much they had played during Breakout. Of course, the biggest highlight of Breakout was the Operation Breakout case. This case introduced some iconic skins like the M4A1S Cyrex, Desert Eagle Conspiracy, and P90 Asimov. But the real star was the Butterfly Knife, which made its debut here. The unique animations made it one of the most desired knives in CSGO, and it remains one of the most expensive knives to this day. Operation Breakout also continued the tradition of the upgradable coin, but this time progress was tied to completing missions and campaigns. It was the moment operations evolved into full seasonal experiences with both cosmetic rewards and structured gameplay. Operation Vanguard. Operation Vanguard launched on November 14, 2014 and ran until March 31, 2015. The pass cost $5.99, and this operation built on what Breakout started. Vanguard didn't just have missions, it organized them into full campaigns, giving players a structured progression system that felt more like a storyline. Completing missions rewarded XP, drops, and stars, while finishing an entire campaign gave players a challenge star, which was needed to upgrade their Operation Vanguard coin. There were a total of 4 campaigns, each containing 21 missions, for a maximum of 84 missions if you completed everything. Missions were released on a strict schedule, but players who bought the pass late could still catch up thanks to a backlog system. This meant no one was locked out of content even if they joined the operation late. Mission rewards worked differently too. Instead of getting guaranteed drops directly from the missions, players earned Operation Vanguard cases or skins from existing collections. This kept the economy more balanced while still making missions worth completing. The Operation Vanguard coin tracked not just mission progress, but also competitive performance on operation and active duty maps. To upgrade, players needed to earn stars. Bronze was for buying the pass, silver required 3 stars, and gold needed 4. Vanguard proved that operations could deliver both gameplay depth and cosmetic rewards. It solidified the campaign system and made missions feel more like an ongoing journey rather than just one-off tasks. Operation Bloodhound. Operation Bloodhound was released on May 26, 2015 and lasted until October 1st. The pass cost $5.99, and this operation marked one of the biggest turning points in CSGO's history. For the first time, Valve introduced the XP and profile rank system, which permanently changed how players progressed in the game. From then on, every match granted XP, and leveling up your profile rank became a core part of CSGO. Bloodhound continued the campaign format from Vanguard, offering 2 full campaigns, Marksman and Revolution. These weren't just random missions, each had a proper storyline. One campaign followed a counter-terrorist operation to track down a Phoenix Connection member, while the other put players in the shoes of the terrorists themselves. Completing missions earned XP, and finishing campaigns granted challenge stars for upgrading the Bloodhound coin. The operation also featured the Falcon case, which introduced skins like the AWP Hyper Beast, AK-47 Aquamarine Revenge, and USPS Torque. But what really made Bloodhound legendary was the addition of 6 new map-based collections, including the Cobblestone collection with the iconic AWP Dragon lore. These collections became some of the most valuable in the game. Bloodhound was the moment operations evolved beyond the temporary events. It permanently tied missions to XP and profile ranks, shaping CSGO's progression system into what players recognize today. It wasn't just an operation, it was a milestone that defined the future of the game. Operation Wildfire. Operation Wildfire launched on February 17, 2016 and ran until July 15. The pass cost the usual $5.99, and this operation stood out for introducing co-op story missions and bringing back one of the game's most iconic maps in a new form, the reworked Nuke. Wildfire included 7 community maps along with 2 structured campaigns. The first was the Gemini campaign, which featured 23 Guardian missions and 3 co-op strike missions designed for 2 players. These missions were replayable, and completing them even unlocked pages of a CSGO comic, adding a unique lore element. The second was the Wildfire campaign, which focused on the classic game modes like Casual, Arms Race, and Deathmatch. Both campaigns rewarded players with XP and stars to upgrade the Wildfire coin. The operation also introduced Blitz missions, time-limited challenges that granted bonus XP. Players had to be at least Private Rank 3 to participate, which encouraged new players to reach that milestone before accessing the special missions. In terms of rewards, the Operation Wildfire case brought in popular skins such as the AK-47 Fuel Injector, Desert Eagle Kamicho Dragon, and Op Elite build. It also introduced the Bowie knife, a brand new knife type that quickly became a collector favorite. Operation Wildfire combined new gameplay, lore, and cosmetics into a package that felt larger than anything before. With co-op missions, comic tie-ins, and major map changes, it pushed the boundaries of what an operation could be. Operation Hydra. Operation Hydra was released on May 23, 2017 and lasted until November 13, making it one of the longest operations in CSGO's history. The pass cost $5.99, and Hydra became famous for introducing entirely new ways to play the game. The operation brought back 7 community maps, but the real spotlight was on the new event modes. Hydra introduced Wingman, a 2v2 competitive mode played on smaller maps with a best of 16 round format. It quickly became a fan favorite and was later added permanently as a core CSGO mode. Hydra also featured War Games, a rotation of fun, experimental modes like Headshots Only, Heavy Assault Suit, and Hunters Gatherers. Another mode called Weapons Expert added a twist where each player could only buy a specific gun once per match, making teamwork and strategy more important. For rewards, players could earn stars and XP by completing missions across Hydra's campaigns. The Operation Hydra case contained standout skins like the M4A4 Hellfire, 5.7 Hyper Beast, and AK-47 Orbit MK01. It also brought back older knife designs from the Chroma cases, now with new Hydra finishes. The Hydra coin once again upgraded with playtime and mission completions, but this time Operation felt different. It wasn't just about missions or skins. Hydra tested bold new ideas, some of which, like Wingman, became permanent fixtures of CSGO. Many players still consider Hydra one of the most innovative and content-rich operations ever made. Operation Shattered Web. Operation Shattered Web launched on November 18, 2019 and ran until March 31, 2020. After more than 2 years without an operation, players were eager for new content, and Shattered Web delivered one of the most ambitious updates CSGO had ever seen. The pass cost $15, making it the most expensive operation so far, but it also introduced entirely new features. For the first time, players could unlock agent skins, which changed the character models for CTs and terrorists. Some agents even had unique voice lines, adding personality to the game. This was a massive shift for CSGO, where cosmetics had previously only applied to weapons. Shattered Web also introduced a Battle Pass style mission system. Each week, players received a mission card with multiple objectives. Completing missions awarded stars, which could then be spent in the Operation Shop on rewards like agents, weapon skins, stickers, and graffiti. Players could choose what to unlock, giving more freedom than in the past operations. The operation also added 3 new collections: Norse, St. Mark, and Canals. These collections included some of the rarest and most expensive skins in CSGO's history, such as the Op Gungnir, AK-47 Wild Lotus, and Op the Prince. Shattered Web completely redefined operations, setting the stage for CSGO's modern progression system. It wasn't just an event, it was a full seasonal experience with lasting impact. Operation Broken Fang. Operation Broken Fang was released on December 3, 2020 and lasted until May 3, 2021. Like Shattered Web, the pass cost $15, but Broken Fang took the operation format even further by adding new modes, stats, and progression systems. One of the biggest additions was the Broken Fang Premier mode. This was an alternative 5v5 competitive queue that featured a pick and ban system for maps, giving regular players a taste of professional tournament play. At first, this mode was exclusive to Operation Pass holders, but it was later open to all players in March 2021. Alongside this, Valve officially introduced Retakes mode, a community favorite where 3 CTs defended a bomb site against 4 Ts in fast-paced rounds. Another major highlight was the Operation Stats panel, which tracked player performance in detail. It showed average damage per round, win rates by map, weapon accuracy, and even heat maps for grenade usage, kills, and deaths. Players could also see their best mate, the teammate they won the most rounds with. This stats system eventually became CSGO 360 stats. The Operation Broken Fang case brought new skins like the M4A1S Prince Dream, 5-7 Fairy Tale, and USBS Monster Mashup. There were also 3 new collections: Control, Ancient, and Havoc. Stars earned through weekly missions could be spent in the Operation Shop for agents, skins, stickers, and graffiti, but only mission-earned stars counted toward upgrading the Broken Fang coin. Broken Fang was a full package of gameplay and cosmetics, blending competitive depth with the flexibility of a modern battle pass. Operation Riptide. Operation Riptide was released on September 21, 2021 and ran until February 20, 2022. Priced at $15, it delivered both the familiar operation structure and some of the boldest gameplay changes CSGO had ever seen. One major change was the introduction of short competitive matches. These use an MR9 format, cutting the average match time to around 25 minutes, making competitive play more accessible. Another big addition was the ability to drop grenades, giving teams new tactical options and shifting how utility was used. Alongside these changes, balance updates like the M4A1S buff helped redefine the meta. The operation still followed the Battle Pass model, with weekly missions granting stars. Players could spend stars in the Operation Shop on rewards like agents, stickers, graffiti, and skins. The Operation Riptide case included flashy designs such as the Desert Eagle Ocean Drive, AK-47 Elite's Museo, and USPS Black Lotus. 4 new collections were also introduced, with the standout being the 2021 Mirage Collection, home to the incredibly rare AWP Desert Hydra. Riptide also featured Guardian missions, co-op strike challenges, and a variety of objectives that kept the gameplay fresh. With its combination of new features, experimental mechanics, and highly desired skins, Operation Riptide proved that operations could continue to evolve in exciting ways. The Armory. The Armory Pass was introduced on October 2, 2024. While it wasn't labeled as an operation, it served a very similar purpose, a seasonal pass with rewards and exclusive content. In many ways, it felt like Valve's test run for how progression would look moving forward into CS2. The pass cost $15, matching the price of the last few operations. Players who purchased it could earn stars by playing the game. These stars could then be spent in the Armory store, a system almost identical to the Operation Shop from Shattered Web, Broken Fang, and Riptide. Rewards included weapon skins, stickers, charms, and cases, letting players choose what they wanted to unlock. Among the weapon skins, highlights included the highly praised M4A1S Fade and Glock 18 Axia from the Sport and Field collection, as well as the AWP CMYK and Desert Eagle Starcade from Graphic Design collection. The Gallery case was the first to be introduced after the release of the Armory Pass. It contained some of the game's most notable skins, including the AK-47 The Outsiders, Glock 18 Gold Tooth, and M4A1S Vaporwave. The Kukri knife could also be unboxed from this case, and since it was available in only 2 cases across the game, it quickly became a highly valuable item among collectors. Still ongoing, the Armory Pass marked the beginning of CS2's new era of seasonal content. First introduced with CS2, it carried forward the spirit of CSGO's operations while shaping the foundation for the game's evolving content system. And that was all. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe. See you later.